The question I'm often asked is, can you jig from a kayak? And the answer is very definitely yes, you can. Yes, we are sitting in a tight, compact cockpit, so there is more focus on technique when working from a kayak. So for us, what we need to do is concentrate on sitting up, sitting forward, shoulders back, and focus on the mechanical jigging process rather than trying to go too fast. Okay, so it's all about the correct technique of the mechanics of jigging. The basic technique that we're focusing on is to lift up and then wind down. Lift up, wind down. And it's what's typically called the mechanical jig technique. Lift up, wind down. So what we're doing is we're making that jig flutter as it's going up through the water. And that's the important thing. Speed, that'll come later, but technique is absolutely critical. One of the secrets to successful jigging is finding the fish. And typically on a kayak, what we're doing is looking for those high current areas. So anything really that will concentrate those bait fish. So where we've got currents moving through and pushing bait up against a headland or a point, or against a piece of reef structure. Once we've found our quarry, if you like, so using the fish finder, we have that bait marked, we have those arches around the bait that indicate the predators are around. What we then need to do is position the kayak, and literally what I'm doing is using my paddle to move the kayak up in the current, and I'll just kick it forward and hit free spool on the reel, send the jig on its way, and just dig in a couple of more paddle strokes so that I stay directly over top of my lure before picking the jig up and beginning the process of retrieving that lure. Something that's key when thinking about jigging from a kayak is that we're often targeting big fish. This means we need to think about which side of the kayak that we're going to fish out of. And here it's not about presenting the lure, it's about the end game. It's about what happens when you've hooked that big fish and played it to the side of the kayak. So for me, this means I'm going to fish off the right-hand side of the kayak. So I'll have the jig rod diagonally across. That means I've got good technique in our sort of compressed confines of the kayak. But even more importantly, once that fish is here at the side of the kayak, I'm able to lift my rod and reach out, nicely balanced, to grab the jig and control that fish. So literally grab the jig, haul that head up. Once the head's up, I can drop the rod, or I can pop it in the rod holder, grab a hold of that bottom jaw and bring that 30 or 40 kilos, hopefully, of fish into the cockpit. That's where I can take the photos, get the lure out before releasing it back over the other side of the boat.